What if GameFreak had used a different type trio for the Kanto starter Pokemon? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Brandon here. So since the beginning of the franchise, the starter Pokemon have always been grass, fire, and water type. They form a great type triangle and are relatively balanced, but other type triangles exist. While they aren't as balanced, they could be used as type trios for the starter Pokemon. So to experiment with this idea, I'm going to use the Kanto starters as a base. If you like this idea and want to see more, make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content just like this. So the type trio I decided to use in this case is Ground, Ice, and Steel. Yes, I realize Steel didn't exist in the first generation of Pokemon, but this is all hypothetical and just for fun anyway. So let's just say this is an alternate universe where all the types are on the table. Also, all of the art in today's video was made by the incredible Treven art, so make sure to go check them out. Starting us off is Bulbasaur, which I decided to give the Ice type. Grass and Ice are kind of opposites in a way, so I thought it would be interesting. So here is Bulbasaur. Since this is an alternate universe where the types were different, I figured the names should match the typing as well. Instead of a bulb, Bulbasaur has a big old iceberg on its back, hence its name. The iceberg extends below to coat its arms and body as well, which references how icebergs have more to them below the surface of the water. This icy coating is also a reference to the wood frog found across North America. These are the only frogs found in the Arctic Circle, due to their unique ability to freeze themselves over in the winter, producing a special form of antifreeze that prevents their cells from freezing. The space between the cells does become frozen though, so the wood frog gets this icy coating. When the weather gets warmer, they thaw and are able to continue feeding and mating just like normal. Bulbasaur inhabit the snowy peaks of Mount Silver. They are always trying to keep the iceberg on their back as tall as possible. It is said that the iceberg contains the very life force of this Pokemon, and if it were to melt, their life would melt away as well. All of this winter talk reminds me of Christmas and the incredible Christmas deal with today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment and you can get Atlas VPN Premium for 85% off, which is only $1.70 a month for 3 years with an added 6 months extra, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. Atlas VPN is a virtual private network that makes all of your network traffic travel through a protected and encrypted tunnel, keeping your information safe from things such as hackers and even your own internet service provider. It also lets you set your virtual location to anywhere in the world, allowing you to access region-locked shows on streaming services like Netflix, such as Friends, Rick and Morty, or anime like Steins Gate and Spirited Away. So once again, if you sign up for Atlas VPN using my link right now, you can get it for the low cost of $1.70 a month for 3 years, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks so much to Atlas VPN for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. At level 16, Bulbasaur evolves into Icysaur. See what I did there? As you can no doubt tell, Icysaur's iceberg is smaller than Bulbasaur, and now is more of an ice shelf. Its arms are no longer coated with ice, exposing more of the diamond pattern on its skin, though it still keeps these icy claws it can use to attack. I would give it a new move called Frost Claw to back this concept, which would be an ice-type version of moves like Dragon Claw or Metal Claw, but with a chance to freeze. Icysaur are much more aggressive than Bulbasaur and have a keen survival instinct. They are highly protective of the ice on their back and will use their claws to deliver chilling cuts to anyone that comes near them. These cuts will remain frozen. The sun or fire will not melt them. The only remedy is to seek medical attention, such as an ice heal or Pokemon Center. At level 32, Icysaur evolves into Bulbasaur, an ice ghost type. The ice on its back has melted, draining the life force of this Pokemon and thus turning it into a ghost type. The ice now coats its body in the shape of a snowflake to visually mimic Venusaur's leaves. If you haven't picked up on it already, this entire line is a reference to the melting polar ice caps. They are also a reference to wilderness survival. People like Mountain Men, Bear Grylls, and Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant all serve as inspiration here, which you can partly see in Bulbasaur's little beard. Revenant is also a synonym for ghost, so that works out too. It now has horns as a sort of visual pun of a bull frog, but also refers to another group of frigid bearded survivalists, Vikings. Bulbasaur's name comes from verglass, which is the thin coating of ice caused by frozen over rain, just like the thin coating the wood frog has and Bulbasaur has due to its melted ice. I wanted this whole line to conceptually oppose the Bulbasaur line, where Bulbasaur's bulb grows into this beautiful plant by the final stage. Bulbasaur's iceberg melts into this sad remnant of what it once was. Bulbasaur is said to haunt the frozen hills of the Kanto and Johto regions, seeking revenge on humans as it believes they are the reason its ice and life force are gone. One strike from its frozen claws will curse you, making you feel like you're always cold, no matter how warm your surroundings may be. Next, I decided to give Squirtle the ground type, so meet Desertal. There are plenty of desert inhabiting turtles I could have based this on, but I ultimately decided to base it on the Indian star tortoise, which lives in dry areas like semi-desert grasslands and sand dunes, but can live in humid areas as well. It is also based around cowboys. You can see the brown portion on the front of its shell emulates a bandana, and its little mud-caked hands look like gloves. The reason I picked the Indian star tortoise rather than other turtles is because of the star part of its name. Stars are the symbols for old-timey sheriff's badges, and the spurs of a cowboy boot look like the stars on the tortoise's back. Also, one little detail I wanted to point out is that the direction of the spiral on its tail is flipped from Squirtle. Desertal will bury themselves in sand and can shoot that sand out in high-speed bursts at prey passing by to stun them. Its hard, durable shell can withstand harsh sandstorms. If the storms get too bad, it can withdraw into its shell, letting itself be buried. At level 16, Desertal evolves into Waste Turtle. Elements of the Indian star tortoise and the cowboy inspiration start to become more factored in with this design. The folds on the front of its shell form a star, and though less noticeable, it has a star on its back. The ears, which is apparently what those wing-like things on Wartortle's head are, become more like extended eyebrows that, when combined with the shape of its head, form a cowboy hat. It keeps the bandana-like marking on its shell, and its tail is shaped like a whip, mixed with a little bit of fringe. Waste Turtle are always trying to prove their toughness. They will challenge Pokemon with a type advantage just to prove this. If the battle isn't going their way, they will whip sand stored in their tail into the eyes of their opponent, in an attempt to blind them and to get a cheap shot in. At level 36, Waste Turtle evolves into Dustoise, a ground dark type. This cowboy has gone rogue, turning into a full-on outlaw. The black and yellow coloration of the Indian star tortoise pairs wonderfully with the dark cowboy aesthetic I wanted for this design. Giving it a dark shell, face, and eyes with that pop of yellow really gives off that evil feeling, kind of like the DC villain Sinestro. Speaking of its dark face, you can see that its face, jaw, and head come together to look like a bandit hiding his face using a cowboy hat and bandana. Its middle toes are longer and slightly curved, so they look like cowboy boots. You can definitely feel the intimidation factor, with Dustoise looking in your direction while pointing its finger and cannon at you, as if it's saying you're next. Dustoise shoots out large, precise, bullet-like clumps of sand from its cannons. One blast can break through solid steel. It rarely needs to use its cannons though, as most Pokemon run from fear based on its sheer presence alone. Of course, that leaves Charmander with the steel type, so here is Cromander. Cromander definitely feels the most different from the original in terms of design, with a more circular head, serious expression, confident pose, and a more slender body. Instead of a flame, it has a big ball of iron on its tail, which mimics an old ball and chain. Don't let its thinner appearance fool you though, Cromander is tough. It can lift the heavy ball on its tail slightly off the ground and swing it around at opponents. Its tail is extremely sturdy and can crush solid rock. At level 16, Cromander evolves into Chromeleon. Here is where its secondary inspiration starts to present itself. This line is also based on weightlifting. Chromeleon is curling the iron ball with its tail like the exercise of curling weights. Its shoulders are becoming more distinct and muscular, but they also look like curled up sleeves, which is typically what people do with their clothing if they're about to lift something seriously heavy. The segmentation of its arms make it look like it's wearing weightlifting gloves. It also has this little mustache, which I will explain the reasoning behind it once it evolves. Chromeleon can use their tail like a mace to knock out opponents, though they are less interested in battling and more so want to focus on making their body and tail stronger. At level 36, Chromeleon evolves into Chromazard, a steel fighting type. This lizard is juiced. Its body is thicker and more rounded to reflect how many weightlifters and powerlifters are typically less muscly than bodybuilders. I mean, some of the strongest men in the world are thick powerlifters like Mark Henry, Hafthor Bjornsson, and Zydrunas Savikas, just to name a few. Chromazard's mustache and leotard-like body pattern refer to old-timey circus strongmen, but more specifically one particular strongman, Louis Uni, also known as Apollon the Mighty, who was by far the strongest man alive back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Chromazard's tail has transformed from Cromander and Chromeleon's single iron bar into a big old dumbbell for it to lift. Its chest, while being a leotard, also looks like a big ball of iron. The symbols on its chest are meant to emulate the numbers on old barbells, where these numbers are instead 3 question marks, meaning it is so heavy it is impossible to tell its exact weight. This line's concept kind of acts as an opposite to the Charizard line. Where the Charizard line's tail is a source of weakness, the Chromazard line's tail acts as a source of strength. Chromazard's body is harder than diamond. The only thing that can pierce it is intense heat. It is constantly lifting heavy things to show off how strong it is. Like many starter trios, these 3 final stages have a group theme, which is things associated with being manly or macho, being able to live off the land, or wilderness survival, the Old West, or cowboys, and being able to lift heavy things, or weightlifting. And that's what a differently typed starter trio might look like. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.